Hey y'all, I'm James Wright. Welcome to my shop. Today we are making a router plane. This is from the Compass Rose Rex Krueger Router Plane. And yeah, let's dive in. So today we have the kit from Rex Krueger, and we're going to be making this. It comes with everything you need, including the wood, the blade, the adjusters, even a tool to install the inserts. So basically everything you need except for the tools to cut and shape it. So let's have some fun. Oh, okay, whoa, I gotta pop in here for a moment. I was actually editing the video and I was texting Rex. The two of us talk rather regularly. And I told him, yeah, I'm gonna be doing a video on your router plane. I bought it with my own money. He didn't know about that. And he said, oh, okay, I'll tell you what, I've got a discount code for your audience. And I said, what? Because Rex doesn't give discount codes at all. I'll leave links to that at the end, but if you are interested in it, this is your one chance to actually get a discount. The kit comes with these really well-shaped blocks, and one of them is for the front and one of them is for the back, and they're cut at a 45-degree angle so that you have the natural bed angle for the iron. We're going to start by putting in a threaded insert to tap in the front. So we need to make sure this hole is drilled correctly. We're going to drill all the way through it, and here I actually have a block in the back so I can go through without blowing it out and without running into my bench. The kit also comes with a bolt and nut, and these are actually used for inserting the inserts into the wood. So you can jam the nut down onto the insert and then drive it in. This one was surprising a little more difficult than average because you're going into a rounded surface, so you do need some down pressure on it. Later on I found it was actually easier to hold the bolt in place and then turn the block underneath, and that allowed me to keep a nice vertical placement on it. So this took a bit more than you want, but you do want it to be nice and straight so that your screw goes down through the hole. And then I had a really cool idea. It comes with a second insert just in case you mess one up. And I thought, what if I put one on the corner so that I could get into tighter locations? Because some planes actually have a location for the iron to go into it. I found out that wasn't a terribly smart idea, so this really isn't necessary. But I'm going to do it in the video just to show you what you could do, but it's not going to work out right. Then we're going to flip this front block over, and with the hole, we're going to make a dado for the iron to go into. So we're going to use a square to mark one side, then put the iron on it, and then mark the second side so we have the exact width of the iron. And then I'm going to do the one that goes in the corner as well. Some of you are already typing out and realize what's the problem with the corner one. I didn't realize until after actually shooting the whole video. So we'll see what that goes to. Next, we're going to cut the two side walls of the dado and remove the waste in between. And yes, you cannot make a router plane without a router plane. Well, actually you can. So because I have two grooves here, I decided to show two different methods. One is you cut the two side walls, you come into the router plane, you remove the waste, and then you trim it back until the iron slides in nicely and gives you a nice tight fit. You don't want the iron to be really sloppy. You want it to be relatively tight, but you also want it to be able to slide in and out. And so mine is relatively tight and takes a light hammer strike to move it around, but that will change over time. To get the exact fit, you can come in with a square file and file it up and get it fitting in there really nicely. If you don't have a router plane, then you can just come in with a chisel and treat it like a router plane. You just want to stay away. You don't want to go all the way down. You want to get it a light cut to begin with. So go about halfway down and then do about half of that and then do about half of that. And you'll see I'm coming in bevel up, and this allows me to do this stabbing motion and get relatively close to where I want to be. I can come in with a depth gauge and check where I'm at depth and where I need to go a little bit deeper. Or I could put the iron in and check on that a little farther. Then I can turn it around and come at it from the other side. You notice I didn't blow all the way through from one side, otherwise I'm going to tear out on the far side. So you come halfway from one side, halfway from the other side, and then you come in with a little file and clean it up. And just like that, you made a router without a router. Ooh, achievement unlocked. So we want to make sure that the iron fits in there and slides down. This one's a little tight, so I'm going to come in with a couple more files. And I realized there's a slight high spot in the middle, so I needed to pare out a little bit more. So a little bit of finesse, and there we go. We're going to do a dry fit up on this, and the plans say to screw down 2 blocks to hold the nose in front, and I found it was actually easier for me to use a large hand screw clamp. So if you don't have this, you can just screw down blocks onto a scrap piece of wood. And then I have 2 other hand screw clamps that push it together. So the one holding front to back puts pressure on it front to back, and then the 2 coming down from the top put it from
top and bottom, and that squeezes this together. Normally I would just use a simple wood glue, but I want to do this video all in one day in order to get it out in time. So I'm actually just going to be using some 5-minute epoxy. This joint does not need to be crazy strong. There's a lot of surface on here, and you don't need it to be anything absolutely amazing. So wood glue, perfectly fine. Hide glue, perfectly fine. Even simple 5-minute epoxy, though if I had more time, I probably would use a more traditional glue. So then we can put it in here. You can see how when you crank this top one, you're going to be sliding it against, and this is putting a lot of pressure down on that joint. Especially if you're using a PVA, you want a lot of pressure on there. Make sure your ends are nice and clean and smoothed up next to each other. That will save you a lot of time when it actually comes to doing the detail on. Just like that, we're going to set it aside and start working on some of the metal pieces. The thumb screw that comes with it is a good bit longer. The reason for that is getting one specially made at the exact distance you need is relatively expensive. And modifying them all ahead of time would be very expensive, but honestly it's like a minute and a half worth of work for the person to do. So it's really easy to cut it down to the length. You only have to take about a 1/2 inch off. I'm going to sharpen up the irons and make sure that those are ready to go. And around that time, the glue is setting up. So I'm going to come in with a small file and detail the edge, and if there's any glue squeeze out in there, remove that with a chisel and or file. And I want to make sure that the irons then slide in and out. I don't want them to be really tight. I want them to have a little bit of movement so you can move them out with finger pressure. Next, we need to open up the mouth so you can actually see what you're cutting. And if you just come in with a saw down from one side and down from the other, and then remove the waste in between, you have an open mouth. I'm going to do a little more refining on that, but I want to get this up and working and just see how it works. See, I can tighten the thumb screw down into that, and you have a working router. So that's all you need to get it up and running. If you want to do a little bit more, now you can do all the detail work. Here I'm going to smooth out these corners. You put the chisel bevel down, and you can actually ride right along it, giving yourself a really nice, clean, smooth corner. If you have a round bottom spoke shave, you can come in and do that, but honestly, getting the skill with a chisel and just using it bevel down is a lot of fun, and I really enjoy this step, getting it very, very close, and then you can come in with a file and refine that curve to get you the look you want on there. And all you're creating is a small gap so that you can see the nose of the chisel and know what you're actually doing. Next, we're going to flatten out the bottom if there's any inconsistencies from that front piece to the back side, making that nice and smooth. And we can bring in the card scraper to remove the seam on this. There were a few other nicks and scrapes that I left, and so I decided to scrape most of the surface. With the inside curve, you can actually get a rounded card scraper and shape that out. You can actually make these pretty quickly from an old saw plate. I have several videos on how to make a card scraper, so if you want to see that, it's really simple. I'm going to put a chamfer around the corner. For the outside corner, I come around, bevel up, and slowly work away, chipping off, and then removing any facets. For the inside one, it's a bevel down procedure, just like I did for the mouth opening. And I got these really close so I could just come in and smooth them out. Because I have put the chamfers on the corner ready, I don't need a shooting board, and it is a bit too big for the shooting board. After that, it's, of course, boiled linseed oil and paste wax. I'm going to put it on and let it soak up as much as it wants. This wood was very, very dry, and so I put on several layerings of it to thicken it up. And then you can wipe off the excess, what doesn't absorb, apply your paste wax, polish that off, and it's done. There you have a working, functioning router. So let's actually see how this works. Here is a dado where I cut down either side, and you can use a mallet to do light adjustment to make it go a little bit deeper, and tighten the nut down, and it actually goes really, really easily. A lot of people are afraid of hammer adjustment, but it is a surprisingly easy and effective way to do it. So don't let that turn you off. It's a good skill to learn, and it is a very, very, very solid skill. It will treat you very well. So you can see how this is now a fully functional, really nice router, and kind of a fun traditional feel. I really like the shape on this, and I found it to be very, very comfortable to hold in the hand, so I'm very, very pleased with it. Rex, you've done a great job on this. Now, at this point, you might realize the one in the corner, yeah, the corner of it is touching, and it's not flat, and that's why you don't want to do it in the corner. But it was a fun experiment, so happy. So there you have it. Router plane. This one is a great, simple, old design. It's a hag's tooth that's just really kind of cool, and I like the profile on it with that. The kit does come with the 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch blade, so you can have both of them on there, and I really, really like it. It was very, very quick and easy. It was probably about an hour and a half worth of work total from start to finish, including the glue up because we used 5-minute epoxy.
So yeah, really easy project that anyone could do in an afternoon. I really like how this came out, and when you're done, you've got a fully functional router plane that's actually surprisingly easy to adjust. A lot of people are scared of doing hammer adjustment, but that's all it needs for a shaving and it's ready to go. Make sure that the knob stays tight and you're good to go. It's really a good design. I like it. I'll leave links to it down below, and Rex, you've done an awesome job on putting this together. Oh, and for the discount, I do have that down in the description below, but if you want a discount, he's giving $3 off on the router plane. You can do wood 52 for that, WOOD 52, all uppercase. But if you want a discount on just the blades, that's blades 27. But hurry, the offer is only good for a week, and Rex doesn't give discounts, so yeah. And for those of you who want to know, no, this isn't sponsored. I bought it with my own money. Rex is a good friend of mine, but I bought this because I wanted to have it in the shop. So yeah, I like it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And if you have any other thoughts or ideas, things I could have done better, please let me know those down below. I do read through all the comments and I answer as many of them as I can get to. And thank you, that actually helps out the channel. Just like hitting like, share, subscribe, anytime you comment, it helps us get in front of more people and lets Google know that someone likes this video, which is kind of weird. But thank you. If you'd like to go even farther, there are a bunch of names over here. Those are all of the fantastic, wonderful, benevolent, and gorgeous people over on Patreon. Yes, those people are fantastic because they keep this channel going. We are completely sponsored by you, so I can go and buy things like this and show how they come out and tell you what I think about it. I'm looking forward to experimenting with this and maybe doing a video in the future talking about how much I use it or don't use it. It'd be kind of interesting. So if you do like things like that and you want to help out, then think about becoming a patron, or click the little join button down below and become a member here on YouTube, or you can click the thank you button. Thank you. Without that, we wouldn't be here. I think that's it for now. And until next time, have a wonderful day. This is one of the few tools in the shop that should be seen in, but is never found in a dentist office.